Hi folks, welcome along, it's Adam here. It's another Midlife Crisis Guys video. Thank you so much for joining me, as ever, really appreciate it. Before I will go into detail about how I got to have a certain Boeing 767 memorabilia in my man shed, I really want to make a quick reference to an update on the rubbish situation, the littering campaign. Now, I just happened to be sat in my car at a viewpoint and there was some rubbish on the ground and it proper winds me up, and I ended up just spilling my heart out to my GoPro. Yeah, I just posted up a video and it really seems to have hit a nerve. And in fact, that first video particularly, I seem to have caught, any other YouTubers out there will know, but I just seem to have it's like a bit like surfing. For some bizarre reason, I seem to catch the algorithm about right where YouTube, and it's a popular subject, I'm guessing, but I kind of just caught a bit of a crest of a wave, and within a few days I had over 1,000 views, which for my little videos was pretty good going, really, just so quickly. It really created a bit of an impact, which obviously I was really chuffed with, and consequently I did a follow-up video as well, and just to enlighten anyone that didn't know about that, it was really just to highlight a campaign. There's a petition, and I will put a link in. I'm not going to go on and on about it now because I've done 2 videos of it, but there is a petition available and I will put a link in the description. But a massive thank you to all of those that have signed the petition. At the time when I first mentioned it, I think I was on around, it's not done by me. There's a lady, and all the details are there, that set this petition up, and good for her. I'll put her name up here because it escapes me at the moment, but good for her for doing it. And she's trying to raise awareness for the government to sort of step in for another national campaign to highlight the issue. This one particular picture that I just screenshot off the BBC website, which was kind of what sprung me into this annoying tirade and rant that I did about this disgusting situation. And then I've just added a bit of my own text on board. So that's one example. So I kind of cut myself out a PNG of a bin and then put it on one of my shots from when I did the Pennine Way at Crowden, and just sort of put the bin there. And anyway, this is subsequent image, and I've shared that on a few hiking pages, well, the Pennine Way one particularly, and yeah, it's been shared lots and lots of times. It's gone down really well, so I'm really chuffed with that, and thanks to all that shares, because hopefully it's just trying to get a point across. And then one last one I want to show you is this particular one, which was an expression where a lady said she was always grown up and taught by her parents to sort of respect the countryside. And it was this rather lovely little saying here, which I've stolen, and I did tell her I was going to steal it, and I just put it to this background as well, and I'd like to think it gets the message across. But anyway, thanks again, and I'm going to leave the rubbish content there. So, Monarch Airlines, what is this strange obsession I have with Monarch Airlines? There's a link here to a video that I posted. I used to fly for Monarch Airlines. I was cabin crew for Monarch Airlines back in the late 90s, and yeah, saw in the new millennium. In fact, I was on a trip to Paris the night, or just before the millennium. But anyway, yeah, so fantastic, some fantastic memories, and it's how I met my good lady wife. So, and she flew for Monarch a lot longer than I did, and we met on a Boeing 757, all very romantic, blah, 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 and we're still married however many years later. Sorry, dear. But anyway, that's by the by. I've got 2 kids, blah, blah, blah. But we have an affinity and a real fond memory, and obviously it's played a big part in both of our lives for Monarch Airlines. They were a wonderful airline. They were one of the smaller ones, a smaller charter airline. I think at some point you know, if you kind of were kids or sort of growing up in the sort of, go right back really to the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s and the early noughties as well, basically. At some point, I'm pretty sure most people have flown with Monarch somewhere. You know, they weren't the big sort of wonderful posh airline at all either, but at the same time, we like to think that they weren't, which proved really to be their downfall, one of these new kind of budget airlines really, which ultimately I do think caused the demise of Monarch really, when all these budget airlines came in. And Monarch, my own personal feeling is they were kind of stuck in the middle and had a bit of an identity crisis and couldn't really, trying to cling on to the sort of old style, but probably embracing the whole new internet age and people booking their own holidays and seat only, blah blah blah. Perhaps they were a bit late there, and that was, but anyway, that's what do I know. But there you go. But I spent a brief 3 years flying with them anyway, and my wife considerably longer, most of her working life really. It was very, very sad the night that they went into administration. Very sad. But anyway, so there you go. Please do have a look at this film that I've just put out. I've got some old footage of when I did fly with them, and we did a flight to Marrakesh. It was like the end of the season, so we came back empty without any passengers, and the captain very kindly let me film in the flight. It was all pre 9/11, so we were allowed to sit in the flight deck at that point. Anyway, by the by, do take a look. But I just wanted to explain to you the reason that we have this sort of affinity and you know, all things Monarch really. And then I saw, we obviously keep touch with a lot of ex-cabin crew through various social media outlets, and it's how I did track down, and again in that other video you'll see the drinks trolley, which we thought, oh my god, we've got to have that. So we've got a nice original Monarch Airlines drinks trolley in our kitchen now. But then we saw these seats. This chap was selling off some seats, and it was from G-DIMB, which is the registration of a Monarch Airlines 767. So I'm not naive enough to think it was just Monarch. The aircraft, I think, started flying in the early 90s, I believe. But anyway, and flew for various airlines. They all sort of do sessions for different airlines as they come and go, because it's such a fragile industry that it is. But anyway, Monarch had this 767 briefly between 2005 and 2010. I wasn't even aware, because I didn't work for them at that point, so I really had no idea that Monarch flew a 767. Normally Monarch were the old 75s, the A300s, anyway, I'm not going to bore people that don't know anything about aircraft, but anyway, at no point did as far as I was concerned, that Monarch operated 76s, so I was pleasantly surprised to see that. And anyway, these seats have become available from this chap down in Cambridge, and I contacted him on the internet, blah blah blah, arranged a price, and I was particularly, you know, quite chuffed really with the price, because we paid quite a bit for our trolley, and these were quite a bit less, to be honest, so I was quite chuffed, and I thought, what a great addition for the Manshed. So here I am, just going down to collect said seats. So let me explain. I've arrived in an industrial unit in the middle of nowhere, not far from Cambridge, I think, and I am here to collect. The chap has very kindly let me just show you a few bits and pieces, because for ex-airline staff like myself, it's utterly fascinating. I mean, it's a bit dark, but hopefully it'll come out in the camera. He's pointed out these are, did you say Gulf Air, Nick? Yes. So these are Gulf Air from an Airbus A340. Then we've got some SAS, I believe, yep. SAS seats. And then what I found utterly fascinating here is what we call the bulkheads, which kind of divide up where you've got the range of seats, and then there's a bit of a divider. And then the other side here is where all the cabin crew would stand and gossip about the I call them patients now, and I work for the ambulance service, but for the passenger in seat 24A's being a pain in the arse. But there you go, there's another triple set. Up here we've got all the stowage equipment, all the galleys. And then up here you'll recognise the shape. You can see the shape, the curvature of the aircraft, the way all these turn. Overhead hat bins. More seats over here. I have to say, it's just like for someone ex-airline to come and see all this, it's just amazing, wonderful, and just brings back fantastic memories as well. It really does. We really just discussing with Nick here how sad it was when Monarch went down. Very, very sad. They were a wonderful airline. Well shot. Brilliant. Well, I'd shake your hand, but we better not and all that. But that is excellent. A bit of a Monarch 767 in the back of my car now. It's really a bit random, but it's a bit sad, but it's actually quite exciting. I'm really chuffed. I'm really, really glad I discovered this, and yeah, can't wait. They need a bit of a clean up, understandably. I'm going to start my journey back home now, so I can get these home and get them cleaned up and get them in the Manshed. Really looking forward to it. So these are actually the exit seats, and consequently I think they were row 5, which is at doors 2. I think it was GHI, A, B, C, D, E, F, GHI. If it was 3, 3 and 3, I'm not really sure. I must have a look. I'm not really sure of the 7.6 how it was configured really. So some people I'm sure that might have even flown on it, please do contact me and let me know. But as a consequence of being one of the emergency seats, smoothly done. My little table. Here's one I made earlier. My Midlife Crisis Guy mug. In my Midlife Crisis Guy Manshed. With my Midlife Crisis Guy t-shirt. Oh dear, so sad. Never mind. Cheers. Yeah, it has occurred to me, the mind boggles with reference to the possibilities of having a mock aircraft seat set up with a green screen in the back. The possibilities are endless. It's something about it. I love being on my own. Don't get me wrong, I love people. Anyone that knows me will know I'm quite a people person. I like company, and the fact that I have my own YouTube channel and I don't mind making a prat of myself, stood chatting away in front of a camera, knowing that at the moment anyway, the way things are going, quite a few people are watching my videos, which I'm really pleased about. And thanks for subscribing if you have recently, and thanks for joining me. But yeah, I don't mind making a prat of myself. I enjoy it. And here I am, stood in front of a camera now on the side of a hill, but about to watch an incredible sunset, completely on my own, with the sound of sheep, with a stunning view, taking photos, making videos. I
I don't know, I'd rather this than win the lottery.